What's up, guys? Atapark here, and holy crap, I had gotten about 2 or 3 minutes into this video that we are doing right now, and I realized that apparently I had plugged up my webcam to talk to some of the guys in Skype for the guild, and that was the microphone that was being picked up. So I'm very happy that I noticed that instead of going through this whole video and then realizing, oh my god, the sound quality is horrible and we have to redo it. So I want to sit down with you guys today and I want to talk about something that I had suggested in a previous video. So in one of my videos that I had done a few weeks ago, I had suggested to you guys, you raid leaders, group leaders, guild leaders, etc., that I want you, because I'm going to do the same, to sit down with your group, your guild, your raid team, and hash things out. Figure things out, talk to one another, sit down for 20, 30 minutes, and make sure that everybody's on the same page. And the reason for that is, and we are very excited, I think I'm going to keep saying it until it comes out, but Legion is coming out in a week. And as of right now, raids are coming out in a month. September 20th is the first Emerald Nightmare raid. So with that being said, we want to make sure before people start raiding here in a month, and people are thinking one thing, and the raid leader's thinking another, and the guild leader's thinking another thing, and everybody's going in completely different directions and not sure of what's going on, etc. Sit down and let's talk about what's going on. And I wanted to, again, sit down with you guys to reiterate this. The reason why I want to do this is because I did it tonight. I sat down with my guild. I had posted, 2 or 3 weeks ago, hey, here's the deal. We're going to have a guild meeting on this night, a week before Legion launches, and I want to talk to the guild. And what I want to do right now for you guys is I want to share some of the things that I had said, some of the issues that came up, some of the conversations that happened, some of the questions, and I just want to go through it with you guys, just so I can show you how I did it, and so hopefully you guys maybe not can copy, but you can see how it's a very easy and fluid way to discuss topics with your guild, to cover some issues, to get some true blunt input and feedback from your raiders. So, as I just said, before we start going through everything, I need you, the person that's going to be conducting this, regardless of whether you're, the group leader and you're not in a guild, or you're the guild leader, raid leader, if you're the guy that's in charge of this group, you need to make sure that you are prepared for, one, to piss people off, and we've talked about that, but more importantly, for blunt and honest feedback. That's what you need right now. You don't need anybody to sugarcoat it and, blow smoke up your ass. And, if you say one thing and people go, oh, yeah, that's perfectly fine with me, and in the back of their heads they're saying, I don't want to do that. That's not something I'm interested in doing. That's what we want to avoid. We want to make sure that everybody's expectations are the same, or if they are not the same, that you hash things out and you figure out a compromise. So going into the discussion that I had with my group, my guild, I sat down and I initially did a very quick roll call of the players that I knew were interested in raiding and who was in vent tonight to talk it out. And that way I was able to confirm, hey, what are you playing? Are you playing this character? Are you playing that character? What spec do you want to play, as your primary spec for Legion? What are you looking to play? And we had, when I first started this, we had a little bit of discussion about, okay, well, I'm not sure which one I want to play, so what do we need? And, as we went down the roster, I was able to say, look, this guy asked me, he said, hey, I have a druid, I want to play resto, but I can play balance. What do you need? And I said, hey, here's the healers that we have, here's the ranged DPS. We hashed it out and we came up with, he wants to play resto druid. Fantastic, perfectly fine with me. So we've hashed one issue out. So after I did a very quick, hey, who's here, who's not here, I did mark down who was and wasn't here. And we'll get to that here in a second. So I introduced myself, hey, my name is Chris, I go by Cuddle Bear, Bear Ass, a multitude of names that probably have the word bear in them, and I am your raid leader and I am your guild leader. And I introduced at least right now, my one officer. And I said, hey, make sure everybody old and new, because we do have a lot of returning members, but we have a handful of new people. I said, hey, make sure they hear your voice. So I said, introduce yourself. I said, hey, it's me, it's Matt. And I told them, I said, I want to make sure that my officer and all of my raiders are on the same page about this. And then I told the entire group, here is his responsibility within the guild and within this leadership position. I want him to do this one thing. Now, obviously, he's going to be providing me feedback, but here is his primary focus when it comes to raiding. And what he is doing is he is the guy that collects the raid strategies, and he suggests to me, if I can get it out, he suggests, I can't speak tonight, to me, what would be the most ideal strategy given what we have. Because as nice as it would be to go, look, we're going to follow the Fat Boss raid strategy to a T, or this raid strat or that raid strat. Yes, these things give you a very good overview of what's going on, but what if you don't have a Resto Druid as a healer, and you need Tranquility or you need Innervate? What if you don't have a Rogue for, this or that? What if you don't have these things? You're asked out, right? No, you need to make tweaks and adjustments. As a leader, that's your job. Again, just like we said on the video the other day, your job is to make sure everybody's put in a good spot so that they can make everything run smoothly. So I said, here is his job. He is the guy that's responsible for posting on the forums and tweaking our raid strategies. If he is unable to do this, if he is unwilling to do this, if he fails at this, he will be replaced. That is not a threat. That's just simply a declaration that I need people to perform. And even if you've been in the guild 12 years, and this guy's been in the guild 12 years, I will sit you if it means that somebody else can do a better job. So then I moved on and I said, look, why are we meeting? And we've covered this already, with you guys on the YouTubes. But I said, look, we've picked up some new people. We're making some changes to the guild. And I want to make sure that everybody's on the same page about the guild as a whole and about raiding. Also, I want to give you guys, again, old and new, the opportunity, the ability to ask some very blunt questions. Open season about legitimate questions. So I kind of paused and said, hey, any questions that are legit? No responses. So I moved on and said, okay, so let's talk about the guild. Let's get a foundation of what you guys are in so that we're all on the same page. So we are a heroic / mythic raiding guild, meaning we will start out doing heroic content, and in the beginning, the first week or two, we will probably do some normals. We're going to very quickly transition to heroic, get up to speed, and then I want to, as soon as possible, push into mythic raiding. We raid these days, and I gave the raid days and the raid times, the time zone, and how that affects server time. Fortunately, we raid Eastern Standard. The server is an Eastern Standard Time server. I said, the goal of the guild is that we want to progress in heroic and mythic difficulties while being a little bit flexible about real life stuff. You're stuck at work. I'm not going to immediately kick you out of the guild. You're unable to raid for 6 weeks because you're stuck at work. You're probably going to be sad. You're probably going to need to go through some type of evaluation process so that we can make sure, every 6 weeks, you're not going to have an issue where you have to be out for a few days. And then I said, and I don't know if you guys can hear this, apparently this is my new thing where if I just sit here and chat with you guys and just spiel, go through my spiel for YouTube, I'm getting like a stopped up nose. I'm not sick or anything. I don't know what the deal is. So hopefully it's not affecting the audio, but now you guys know what's going on. So I said, okay, here's our rate time. Here's our rate days. Here's our goal. If you are interested in raiding with us, whether you are new, you're old, you are, a core raider, or you are a new guy that has just joined the guild, you're agreeing to this wholeheartedly, fully, 100% you're agreeing to this. And I said, are there any questions about this? And a couple of guys spoke up, and these are my very vocal raiders. They said, look, very elegantly, look, motherfuckers, here is the deal. You guys are agreeing to this. What he is saying is what you're agreeing to. If you don't like it, GTFO. Perfectly fine with me. So I said, okay, let's talk about some of the problems we had for Warlords of Draenor. One of the big ones, and I told the guys this, and it's something that truly affected me, and it affected me so much that I did a video on it, and that was my I'm too abrasive video, question mark, where I said, look, we had ran I don't remember if it was a normal or a heroic, and I want to say it was a normal, Hellfire Citadel run, just to gear people up and to just be stupid and do achievements and whatever. And during that, I had called people out for not interrupting and pulling poor numbers and just playing like crap. And I said, this is unacceptable. We are a Mythic raiding guild, and you guys want to goof off. Like, I get it's trivial content. We've been at it for an umpteenth amount of months, but we're being dumb and we're making dumb mistakes. And I made this video and it really affected me. And I said, this is unacceptable. Just like I said in the video, grow up. If you want to raid in a competitive, heroic, and mythic raiding guild, and you're gonna, and put it very poorly, you're gonna get butthurt because your raid leader fussed at you for missing interrupts consistently, for an entire night. Seriously, why are you raiding with this guild? I said, we had some issues where some people, a select few, it wasn't everybody, played around too much. They goofed off, they were talking and not paying attention. People weren't focused, especially towards the end of the raiding season. People just didn't show up, or they would log on, they would see that we're doing heroic instead of mythic to gear up people, to gear up that new guy, and they would just log off. They say, screw it, I don't feel like it. We did lose a lot of people due to real life issues. We lost a handful, 3 or 4 people that are amazing raiders, because all 4 of them were in school and they decided, hey, we want to, as a whole group, because we're all friends, we have agreed to push on to get our master's degree. Amazing. I fully support it, and I will say this to you guys on YouTube and my raiders and everybody in the world. If you can further your education, you have the opportunity and ability and cash flow to do it, please do it. Take a year or 2 off of WoW and improve yourself. WoW will be here. The next MMO will be here. Your education is important. But with that being said, poor attendance, and people were just selfish. They would log in, I don't want to run heroic, and then they would log off. And all of these are really bad. These are problems that we're going to fix. Not everybody was doing it. And we were able to kill, a handful. We got 5 out of 13. It's not where I wanted us to be, but we killed 5 mythic bosses, in the space of 3 months, if not shorter, once we got our mind set to mythic difficulty. So I said, hey, are there any questions about this? Again, the guys piped up and they said, look, again, here is the shit that we're going to fix. Listen to him. He is fixing this. Cool. So I said, all right, next thing, we have a guild website. Not really that big of a deal. We have a guild forums. This is where a lot of information is going to be at. You guys need to be checking this. You guys need to be watching the YouTubes. You guys need to be reading Icy Veins and the whole list of resources that are available to at least have a general idea of your responsibilities within a raid. I need you guys to understand what each boss does before we get to it, because not knowing and expecting to do mythic is sad, pathetic, and it's ridiculous. It's unacceptable. Know how to do bosses. Any questions? Nope. So this was the big one. I said, okay, after a lot of consideration, and a lot of thought and a lot of sharing with my fellow officer, or my one officer, me being the guild leader, I said, I have decided that everybody that is the rank of raid member, which is our core, you have a guaranteed spot, you're going to get loot, etc. Rank that is here tonight will keep that rank. If you are a new player, an eval, which generally we have a kind of a period in which, a probationary period of 2 weeks, where we kind of feel you out and give you a chance to feel us out. You still get loot, but at any time we could say you're not fitting in, or we may just sit you, or you just might not get loot. And it's not that we're trying to be jerks, but we're going to prioritize our own before the new guy. I said, if you guys are here and you are an eval, congratulations. Here in a minute, I'm going to promote you to the rank of raid member. For those of you that are raid members that are not here, unless there's an extenuating circumstance, and we had one guy that had to pull a double tonight, and his buddy told me, I said, if you guys, the guys that aren't here, that are online but aren't in vent, even after I've said it, 3 or 4, 5, 6 times in guild chat, hey, guild meeting tonight, jump in vent, we're doing it at 9 o'clock. You're getting bumped down to eval, and you can go through the whole process. And the guys that were there had no problem with it. And I can foresee that those that, the handful that were demoted are probably not going to like it. But at the same time, what I am trying to convey to the group as a whole is, one, I need you to perform. If you don't perform, there will be repercussions. If you do perform, you are taken care of. And that is to both the people that are doing good and the people that are doing bad. And again, I've said this, in a lot of my videos. The policies and things that I'm setting forth, if you're rating, if you're perfectly fine jumping on, and if there are enough people, you will try to set up a normal run or a flex run or something. And I can really hear my nose right now. Oh, it sucks so bad. If you guys are that type of raider, that might seem harsh to be like, wow, you're not going to give this guy loot because he didn't log in the event. But those of you that are looking to progress and want a challenge, understand the competitive nature of it. That there are, that raiders are a dime a dozen. And if you're not pushing them to perform so that you can kill bosses, so that you can get better raiders and better loot and, better this and better that, you're going to fall behind. And it's a situation when you enter into heroic and especially mythic content, at least with Warlords of Draenor, where the rich got richer and the poor got poor. If you were doing really good, people flocked to your guild, you got better players, you got, etc. If you weren't doing so great, people moved away from your guild, you couldn't do as well. It's either, a very easy uphill battle or a very quick spiral into madness and anger and discontent. So nobody complained about that. So I said, hey, here is my expectations setting forth for my raiders. Those of you that are here, show up on time. Stay in the raid the entire time. We send invites out 8:55 with the expectation that we will be zoning in at 9 o'clock. That does not mean that if every single person is on at 8:30 that we're going to be pulling at 8:30, because people got shit to do. But that also doesn't mean that logging in at 9:15 is okay. You're expected to stay the entire raid. Obviously, extenuating circumstances, your house catches on fire, that's a different story. You should probably move your laptop somewhere else so you can continue raiding and maybe call the fire department. That's a joke. Ha ha. So, you're expected to show up, stay the entire time. Obviously, there might be situations where you can't. You are expected to pull adequate numbers on par with your peers, meaning if you are pulling 50k DPS, throwing numbers out there, and every other person in the raid is pulling 100k, you are not playing your character to its fullest potential. You're not even playing it that well to begin with. You need to either fix it, you'll be sat, or replaced. Same thing with healing and tanking. If you're moving the boss in a crappy position, for a whole night and you can't fix it, but the other tank can do it, you're going to get replaced. You're going to get sat. Same thing with healing. If your numbers are abysmally low, compared to your peers, obviously I know, you look at me playing a Holy Paladin in Draenor, yeah, I could blow the healing chart away, especially if there's no old style discipline priest. It's easy peasy. But I expect people to be pulling their weight. And if you're unable to make it to a raid, you need to be proactive. This means that you got to tell me, not I'm going to log on real quick and tell, this other raider. No, that means you need to tell the leadership. You need to text me. You need to send me an in-game message. You need to send me an email. If you are unwilling or unable to do those 3 very convenient things, you're not raiding with us, because I need to know who is and isn't going to be around. And I said, okay, are there any questions about this? And one of the guys piped up. He said, look, I'm expecting to play Demon Hunter. I'm really looking forward to it. I'm not bad at it thus far, but let's be honest, everything is wacky out of place. Some classes are just not performing very well because they seriously do need their artifact or they need that one talent. Demon Hunters seem to be in a fairly stable position, pulling good numbers. I said, but if I find that, I get to level 110, I'm just not feeling it. I don't like it. I can't pull the numbers. I just don't like the rotation. Do I have an issue? Is there an issue with me changing? How do I do this? And I said, look, here's the deal, guys. I don't care what you play. And we're going to get to this here in a second. Both here on the video and in the sit down with the guys. I said, I don't care what you guys play. I truly don't. I've said this before in several other videos. However, here's the deal. I will tell you the things that we really need. And if you happen to be, in a situation where we have too many of something and you've switched to that, we have 5 mages and you want to play your mage because you don't like your Demon Hunter, that's fine. That's totally cool. But you're going to be sat. And other mages are going to be sat. And we're gonna weed out who is good and bad. And if you suck on your mage, you're going to be sitting. Even if you were pulling decent numbers with your Demon Hunter. And he said, look, I don't want to sound like I don't know what I'm doing. And I said, no, that's not the case. I have full faith in it, but I need to make sure that the raid is killing bosses. And everybody was cool with that, no big deal. I said, okay, so let's go through the classes. We have a lot of melee. We had 6 or 7 melee players. I said, again, I'm fine with that, but I will recruit what we need, and if we have too much of something and it's a detriment to the guild, it's a detriment to the raid. If, we have so many melee that the boss has a mechanic where he'll target a melee and it kills 3 or 4 people, dude, you're getting zapped. We're going to have to drop a couple. So you need to be willing to either adjust or sit. And then I said, we need ranged. We very clearly need ranged. I think, looking back, we're in a good spot. But it would definitely be nice to expand that ranged roster. And I said, okay, so the last 2 things. When are we going to start raiding? And my notes said it, but they released it today. Blizzard said, hey, look, here is the raid schedule. We will start raiding the first day that raids are open, September 20th. That gives everybody 3 weeks to level up their character. Does anybody find that to be an unreasonable amount of time? Considering I've heard it takes anywhere between 8, and that might be very low balling it, to 14, 16 hours to get from 100 to 110. Nobody had issues. And I said, then we will start raiding at September 10th. Once the Emerald Dream comes out, we will knock out a normal run, progress to heroic, and then start looking at mythic. And then last but not least, as my nose is completely closed up here, I said, we have myself as the raid and the guild leader. I have my 1 officer, but we're looking at a roster of 20 plus players. Even outside of Mythic, we have 23, 24 players, if not more, that just haven't said anything yet and are going to show up that Tuesday. I need somebody else to help me parse data and look and make, give me feedback and make sure that my head is screwed on tight. I need somebody to hold me down and make sure that I'm looking at the right thing and that we're staying focused. I'm recruiting or looking for another officer. With that being said, if you, the raiders, have to ask me to be promoted, then or you should know that you're not going to get promoted because you shouldn't have to ask. There are a few people that I'm interested in, but I haven't made my decision yet. So I went through all this, and like I said, I let the guys ask a lot of questions, and there was some silly stuff in there, but by and large, the feedback was really good. Everybody seemed to be really cool about everything. There was no big arguments. And overall, it was a win-win situation. I got a good feeling for the guild. Everybody got to jump in. We got some new people in here that had never heard anybody's voice before. And it was a really good feeling for 45 minutes. And it lasted a little bit longer than I expected, about 45 minutes, where we sat down and we just chatted and we said, look, here's what I want to do. Does anybody have any issue with it? And people ask, are we going to keep a 3-day raid schedule? Yes. Are we going to do this? Yes or no? What happens if people do this? Or what happens if I want to do that? What happens if I have to work on Tuesdays or I get off, out of school and I'm going to be 10, 15 minutes late? That was a question that 2 people asked. I'm going to be 20 minutes late every once in a while. How does that affect me? Well, here's the deal. I'm going to prioritize the people that are on time. If we're running a heroic run and we have a spot for you, I'll bring it in. If we don't, sorry, bud, you're going to be sitting. I need to prioritize people. It's not about me as a guild raid leader power tripping or being an asshole. It's me as a very experienced, doing this for a very long time, understanding I need to make sure that everything is running as smooth as possible. And if that means sitting you because you were 20 minutes late and we're already 2 bosses in, I'm okay with that. So that's what I'm telling you guys. Sit down for a few minutes. Sit down for 30, 45 minutes. In the length of time it's going to take you to go through this entire video. Sit down. Chat with your raiders. Get a feel for how they're doing. Talk to them. Make sure everybody's on the same page. If your raiders want to all do normal and you're looking at doing mythic, and in Warlords of Draenor you can only do normal, make sure everybody's on the same page. Maybe you need to be brought down. Maybe they need to be brought up. Figure it out. Talk to them and see what's going on. With all that being said, thank you guys so much for making it all the way through this video. If you did so, definitely appreciate it. Hit that like button. Hit that sub button. Both of those things, I cannot tell you guys how much they encourage me to continue to yap for you guys and make videos all the time. It's just an amazing feeling to have you guys love my content. With that being said, until next time, guys, I'll see you.